welcome to my channel. I'm Ashley Marshall. I am here today to do a pick a pile reading, full moon and Leo themed message from your ancestors. So pile 1 will be the coyote, wise fool. Choose whatever resonates. Pile 2 will be the lion, courage. Pile 3 will be the owl, omens. So again, pile 1, coyote, wise fool. Choosing whatever resonates. If more than one resonates, that's fine. Pile 2, lion, courage. And pile 3, owl, omens. So starting with pile 1, first of all, I wanted to say the energy that I was getting from this pile was that there may be a lot of water signs, not necessarily big 3, sun, moon, or rising, possibly taking a peek in your chart to see if you have a lot of water and energy. I'm feeling that with this pile. And also checking to see where Leo falls in your chart to see which house, which area of your life this might affect. So immediately the energy that I'm getting with this card and with this pile is shame. So the full moon in Leo is really highlighting our own individual creative self-expression. And what I'm hearing is there's been a lot of shame, possibly trauma involved in your life and in your past around your own individual creative self-expression. Right, a lot of outside noise, society, family, maybe coworkers, bosses, friends, having an opinion, doubting the way that you creatively self-express yourself, which, I don't know, is anyone really even allowed to do that, to judge it, right? It's also individual. And I really get this energy of the coyote is kind of like checking their surroundings. So I'm feeling like this energy with this full moon for you is really going to highlight you feeling the shame and doing it anyway, moving through it, breaking through it. But there's this energy of you're going to be more cautious in the future about who you surround yourself with. Because individually on your own, I'm hearing and feeling that it wouldn't be there. It's a lot of outside noise. So I'm also hearing for this full moon in Leo for you, it just came in like energy clearing, whether you're hiring someone to do that or you're doing it yourself, taking a shower, taking a bath with salt, drinking lemon water, whatever you can do, cut your cords, whatever it is that you need to do around these people in your life that have created this relationship between creative self-expression and shame. Judging, having an opinion about how you do it. You may also be seeing coyotes. Coyotes may be coming to you in dreams, and the messaging that I'm getting around this is always be aware of your surroundings and your environment. Music, comedy that you're listening to, movies that you're watching, friends that you're talking to, even just like commercials and ads. It's all, you are like a sponge and you're taking it all in, and it's affecting how you feel about yourself and how you creatively express yourself, right? I do feel like this full moon in Leo is going to shift a lot of that for you on its own. Yeah, okay, let's move on to the next card. So you also received, for a theme of your full moon, you got Queen of Fire. So confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Yeah, so I'm really feeling like this renewed energy, this renewed belief and faith and courage in self to pursue your creative endeavors without caring what other people are saying, whilst also being aware of your environment and your crew, the people around you, and making sure that they're going to lift you up as opposed to shame you and bring you down. So I'm really hearing that this full moon in Leo, it may give you may give you a lot of confidence. Again, if you're feeling like it doesn't, really checking in that environment and that crew and that gang and that neighborhood, that people, that group that you're in, that you surround yourself with. Are they pumping you up or are they dragging you down? I'm also hearing really strongly, like, not underestimating yourself, which is the vibe of this card, and your ideas. I feel like these people may have poo-pooed your ideas, but now with this full moon in Leo, like, you're gaining this confidence and this awareness of your circumstances and your environment and how much they affect you, right? That's the coyote, like, checking things out, like, who's here, who's around. Not hyper vigilant, right? But just in a way that you have learned from your past. The coyote is also a lot about, like, with this full moon in Leo, I think you're going to learn and realize, and it's going to become apparent, like, who is on your side, who is supportive of you, who you should stick with, right? And if you're feeling, like, really triggered by hearing me say, like, oh, there's going to be people who don't support you, and you're like, do I have to cut them out? No, just lessening your time with them, right? Or maybe vocalizing, like, how you feel about their negativity, right? And I really see, this full moon in Leo is going to create this confidence in you. This is you sitting on your throne, stretching your wings, right? Embracing your independence and, really taking one of these fresh new ideas of yours and flying with it. Fire represents action, and not just action, but taking action on our passions, okay? So I think one of these ideas that maybe this old group or this family or these, employer or coworkers or whatever maybe didn't think was such a great idea is actually a really good idea, and you need to shut out those voices and really, assert your independence. There is a lot of energy, and Leo is, a fire sign, and fire signs are often about themselves. I would say that Leo is a lot more, Leo likes and needs praise, so they tend to surround themselves in groups, and the fire signs do in general, but usually their pursuits are independent. Leo rules over the 5th house, and the 5th house is all about, which is opposite of the 11th house, which is like group creation, right? A group voice. Leo's all about the self-expression, right? Your own individual creative passions and the things that you pursue. So leaning more into that. Leo is, can be a really creative sign. So I think that this full moon in Leo is going to bring up a lot of creative ideas for you. And it's really about you being able to move past the shame, move through and forward, blocking out other people's voices and opinions, for this this creative endeavor to come to its full manifestation potential, right? Let's see if there's any other word associations that I want to bring out with this. So one thing that came out that I didn't have in my mind is trusting your own intuition. So that really goes back on, like, the Leo, the individual, listening to the self as opposed to Aquarius, 11th house, the group, that leans on group thought and other people's opinions, right? This is really a time for you to go within, to listen to yourself, right? Not that you can't do creative things with other people or can't eventually bring it to a group, but I really think this full moon in Leo is going to hit on your own individual creative pursuits. Let's see which ancestor is coming to you. So yes, animal. So the ancestors can come to us in blood, in affinity, in lineage. Blood would be the ancestors we're related to by blood. Affinity would be like if we're adopted, or sorry, lineage would be like if we're adopted, and affinity can be really anything. So say you're a nurse, and you really, love your profession, that's your passion, you likely have affinity ancestors, so people who were nurses lifetimes ago, who are available to you, right? So the ancestor archetype that is coming to you, that is sending you this message, is the animal archetype. And I just have to point this out, how incredibly, right? They're both doing the same thing in the image. They're both scoping out their surroundings first. And I think that's what's going to come to you in your life that's really new and fresh that maybe you didn't do before, is that you're going to be putting yourself only where you feel you belong and where you're supported, right? And pretty incredible that with the animal here, the word here is instinct, okay? Because we were talking all about listening to your intuition with the Queen of Fire, not listening to what everybody else has to say. Really scoping out your surroundings and your environment before entering, right? Really honing in on where you belong and places that are meant for you, and putting yourself there and really feeling unapologetic about allowing these other places and people to fall by the wayside. You don't necessarily, unless you want to, go up to people and have a boundary and be like, I'm never going to see you again. I think some of this is going to be by the wayside. And the more that we invite in the people who are supportive of us, right? And the more we scan our environments before settling into them, the better off you'll be, and the more your creative self-expression will be supported. So yeah, the animal archetype, the animal ancestor is coming to you to ask you to call on or for you, not to ask you, telling you, advising you to call on the ancestral animal, right? And what does that mean? The borrowing the strengths, right? And one of the strengths of an animal is that they're very instinctual. They can really tune out everything else, go within, and only listen to what really needs to be heard and what really needs to come through, right? So really getting quiet, going within, really sticking to your intuition and your own particular thoughts and ideas right now is really coming through, really huge. I just can't get over how they're both really mindful, really scanning the environment, seeing who's there to hurt them and who's there to protect them is another thing that's coming through, right? Who's there to support you and who's there possibly as an enemy. Okay, I don't really think it's enemy, but just like not supporting you, say you have a friend that you told that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to have these psychic downloads, I feel really psychic, and I want to try to figure that out, nourish it, and maybe your friend's just like, there's no way you're psychic, that's ridiculous, right? So scanning the environments for those kinds of vibes. Okay, and the Goddess Oracle card that you received, Group 1, Coyote, is Yamana, golden opportunity. Important doors are opening for you right now. Walk through them. And there is my validation that this was a water signs or water energy pile. I feel like it'll usually come through in one of the cards. So I'm really hearing that for this full moon in Leo, right, on, or, you know, the few weeks after, or maybe you've already received this golden opportunity, that is coming to you, right? And what I'm hearing is it's going to require this scanning of environment, right, to allow for that confidence to come through in order for this golden opportunity to arise, right? Sticking with your own intuition and excuse me, sticking or making sure that you're leaning into your own intuition and not letting other people sway you is really how I feel like you're going to be able to come to this place, right? The manifestations that you've made and that you have put out are likely to, especially if you have one big burning one, and I'm feeling like with this pile there's like this big burning one, that mostly the thing that's getting in the way of it is what you think other people think, poo-pooing your ideas, right? You have this big burning idea or this big burning desire, and with the full moon in Leo, the doors are opening for an opportunity around this idea. If something's going on where you're in a position where you're feeling like you need to wait, again, I think it has to do with your worry about what other people think or their opinions. The Yamana is really like, go for it. Like if you've been hesitating, go for it. That's usually what it is. So I wanted to add that to it. Yeah. And there's a lot of like this coming in together, like you're ready for the opportunity, right? Go for it. You're prepared, you're skilled, you're confident. And yeah, this really energy really vibes together. Stretch your wings and fly, you know, and she's kind of almost like opening up to opportunity as well. So the fears around other people's opinions, around mistakes that you've made in the past, around shame that's been created around creative self-expression, right? Moving through that, moving past that with this Leo new moon is really going to allow you the confidence you need in order to accept this opportunity. Okay? I'm hearing that is all for pile 1. If that resonated with you, like, comment, subscribe. I would love, love, love to hear from you. All right, pile 2. The Lion, courage, ask for what you want. I am getting a strong energy that those who chose this pile have strong Leo in their chart, possibly sun, moon, and rising, or have Leo in the 5th house. So, very interesting vibe with the last pile, similar to that. So again, Leo full moon, I had to let it settle for a second. Leo full moon is all about our creative self-expression and honing in on that, allowing for it, right? And what I'm hearing for this pile is I'm hearing that this pile is maybe a little bit more relationship focused for the Leo full moon in Leo. So this pile might be feeling imbalanced. It could be work partnerships or romantic partnerships. And there is a shift that you want to make. There is a change that you want to make. You don't know how it's going to go over with the other person, or maybe the other person just isn't allowing this, or maybe I'm hearing like it's you think that they're not allowing it. Like maybe it's a it's a wall that's up, but it's not a real wall. What I'm hearing from your ancestors is it's not a real wall. It's an imaginary wall. And standing your ground, sticking up for yourself, and clearly communicating what it is that you want and need out of this situation is possible. You can do that, right? Let's look in the book and see if there's any other words that are coming up. Yeah, assertiveness. So your ancestors are really, I don't know what it is that you want. I feel like this pile has something very specific that they want, maybe out of life, maybe from a coworker, maybe from a romantic partner, a friend, or family member. And you're really being called on by your ancestors to embrace the qualities and the characteristics and the courage of the lion. Assert yourself. And I'm also hearing that you are deserving of what it is you want. You can ask for this. You are allowed to ask for this, okay? Full moon in Leo for you may just burst that open for you. You may all of a sudden feel like filled with courage is what I'm hearing. So it may be something that happens naturally for you. You may already be feeling it. Okay, let's move on to your tarot. You got 3 of air, great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself or others. So going back to the idea that this felt like a relationship pile, I don't feel like the full moon in Leo is going to bring a time of greatness, sadness. I feel like you're currently in a time of great sadness, or you were recently. I am not here to tell you whether or not to forgive others. That is up to you. Self-forgiveness is always very beautiful. But I do feel like with this pile, there's some sort of, again, something happened with another person, with a partner, that was disappointing. I'm not feeling as much sad energy as much as it's disappointing, but I do think that a lot of this disappointment could be cleared up by simply, easier said than done, but by simply asking for what you want, by simply asserting yourself. I was hearing a little bit like some people in this pile might have, like a real issue with that. But this full moon in Leo is really going to offer a lot of that courage to you, okay? This full moon in Leo for you may see you going within, okay? Healing, taking the time for self-care. I'm feeling like there's some sort of imbalance in this pile. Maybe someone is overgiving to a partner or overgiving at work, right? Maybe you are taking on the majority of the work at work and someone is kind of slacking. So some sort of imbalance, and what I'm hearing is taking the care that you usually give out, put and give towards others, and turning it inward at this time. So this full moon in Leo for you, pile number 2, lion, courage, ask for what you want, is the big theme here is taking care, turning around and putting some of that attention and care and love toward yourself, okay? If you don't feel like you can communicate with a particular person, I'm hearing like you don't necessarily have to do that now, but there may be, it may require you to pull back a little bit of the care that you're giving them in order to turn around and direct it toward yourself, okay? You may also be receiving news or something disappointing. I don't think that that's going to happen with the full moon in Leo. I feel like it's past. I'm getting like energy that it's, or you already got disappointing news, right? Or you're just disappointed in how this other person, this pair, okay, could be work, could be friend, could be family, could be romantic, is showing up or not showing up for you, is what I'm getting. And it's possible that this full moon in Leo may bring about some balance to that, some necessary balance to that relationship. It could also be, I'm hearing that if it's not a person, balance between home and career. Yeah, balance between home and career. That's all that's coming for that. So I'm feeling more like it's relationship, but for those who are not resonating with that, it could be something that will happen during this full moon in Leo that will bring revelation around balance of home and career. And I don't think the revelation is going to bring sadness. I think it's going to bring balance, and the sadness is already in the past, is what I'm hearing. But yeah, this full moon for you in Leo may require a lot of rest, may require some alone time, some healthy isolation if you feel called to it. And let's see what ancestor is here giving you these messages. The caregiver. Okay, not surprised at all. Okay, so the archetype of the caretaker ancestor, when they are healthy, well resourced, they're giving from a full cup, right? They're caretaking from a place of being well taken care of themselves. So really the ancestor, this ancestor is calling on you to take some of that caretaking, some of that support that you're often funneling out, and to bring it back into the self, to funnel it back into the self, to take, right? This is your time to receive, as uncomfortable as it may be for you to do so, okay? Let's see if anything else comes through. It's kind of just repeating, like, yeah, holding your own hand, supporting your own self, hugging yourself. Again, I just keep seeing this cup being filled and then being able to pour from that cup and bring it back, and there's still plenty for yourself. So how and where have you been pouring from an empty cup, right? Who has been taking, okay? And maybe that's where the sadness is that you're just feeling used, feeling imbalanced, feeling like that this give and take, that this relationship or that this work-life balance is just not good. Caretaker, ancestor is really calling on you to take care of you, okay? Rest. I'm hearing any kind of body work or treatments that involve the hands. Energy clearing a little, I think that was more for pile 1. This pile seems to be calling more for touch, for nourishment, for self-hold, holding a pet, holding an animal, right? Receiving, not just giving. And your goddess oracle, you got Aphrodite, inner goddess. Awaken the goddess within you through dance, self-care, and appreciating your divinity. This is just so good. I love when the messages come together like that, right? So Aphrodite is all about unapologetic self-love. We just had Valentine's Day yesterday, and she came up in a reading for me, and I wrote a post about it, because I think we often see Venus in society and in this day and age is all about, like, you know, Cupid and lovey, and represented in Greek mythology as Aphrodite and in other mythologies. She's kind of like a badass who doesn't really, you know, she goes, she takes from her lovers and then disposes of them. And I'm not necessarily recommending you do that, but maybe a little bit. right? It's funny that I said that this pile might have full moon Leo in the 5th house, because the 5th house is also about sexual expression, and it's the house that rules like the love affairs that we have and the dating that we do. 7th house is going to be committed. 5th house is, yeah, those relationships that maybe we know aren't going to be anything. We're just dating for fun or whatever. Kanye, Julia stuff. Yeah, so, for this Leo full moon, your ancestor, the caretaker ancestor, is really calling on you to step into your goddess energy and your selfish energy, right? Again, going back to that touch massage, but I'm also hearing now and seeing now with this card, like going like this, yeah, dancing, anything that's going to tap into that divine feminine. Oh, I'm also hearing that this balance, or that, yeah, this imbalance that you may have been feeling could be between the masculine and feminine. Have you been relying really heavily on your masculine? So your protector, provider energy, which is fine, but when we're too much in the protector to provider, the feminine suffers. The compassionate, the empathetic. And I'm not talking about man versus woman, I'm talking about feminine versus masculine. Because Aphrodite can come to us when we need to, when there's a call to rebalance the masculine and feminine. So bringing both of those into your day, into your time, into your practice, right? So what does that mean? Allowing yourself to be a protector of yourself, right? We talked about that. And also allowing yourself the soft, slow, feminine care. Okay. I want to see if there's anything else that comes up in the book for Aphrodite with the extra words. Yeah, balancing feminine and masculine energy. Also, just because it's coming with the card, it's not something that's really coming from me, but how are you showing up in your relationships? Just because we were talking about relationships too. Like, have you had to rely more on your masculine? Bring some of your feminine, bring some of your empathy and compassion into the relationship if it's called for. What I'm hearing more for the majority of the people in this pile is that it's been a lot of giving, caretaking, empathy, and compassion outward. So maybe leaning on that masculine a little and creating boundaries around that, right? Okay, pile 2, if this resonated, like, comment, subscribe. I love, love, love to hear from you. Okay, let's move on to pile 3. So, pile 3, owl omens, pay attention to signs. So the energy that I'm getting from this pile, the ancestors are telling me that this may be air signs, can be sun, moon, or rising, but lots of heavy air energy in the natal birth chart is a possibility for those who have chosen this pile. I'm also hearing that you've been, whether you know it or not, you've been receiving lots of messages from birds, whether you've been hearing birds, seeing birds, birds have been flying over you, you just bought a bird, whatever. You're reading a bird book, you're bird watching, the birds are trying to talk to you, okay? And yeah, they're asking you to pay attention to signs. And I'm also hearing that this pile may be like making a decision, maybe wanting to move forward with something. And your clarity from your ancestors, from your guides on how to do that is coming through. Also, I'm hearing angel numbers, but animals, and lots of bird energy with this pile. Also, anything with wings that flies, so insects, butterflies, dragonflies. So yeah, paying attention to the signs for the answers that you seek, right, on this particular, in this particular issue. The owl also represents the magician. I picked this pile and it's just so resonating, but sorry. And so there's this energy of magic here. I feel like this full moon in Leo for this pile is going to bring about, yeah, a new idea and possibly stir up something really magical for you. The owl also does represent secrecy, so there could be something coming, something unknown that's becoming known to you that helps you make better decisions. And there's also this call to, you know, the owl is really, like, how often do we see owls? Rarely, right? So there's this call from your ancestors are asking you to come out of the shadows, to come out. Of course, if you resonate with that, and only if you feel resourced and prepared and called and ready to do so. But the ancestors are saying this pile has, excuse me, something to show the world, something to give to the world, some magic to give to the world. And you're being asked to not hide and to come out of the shadows. And I'm also hearing that people in this pile have been receiving the messages and they're almost there. They're like, oh, you know, starting to think maybe this is so-and-so telling me something, or my ancestors trying to tell me something. But then you're like denying it, or you're being too like other brained, right? I can't remember if it's the left or right brain. You're being too left brain. Left's analytical. Let's just pretend for right now. Right? You're being too left brain, and if you would just open up and surrender to the messaging, then you get more clarity. So if you have a moment where you're thinking of a thought and you see a bird and a bird just comes right in front of you or lands on you or just caws at you, stop in that moment, think about what it is that you were thinking, and see if there's a relationship or association to it. Maybe even looking up the symbols. I'm hearing like looking up the symbols for animals and numbers, or just getting really quiet and allowing the animals and numbers to talk to you. Because what I'm hearing too is this message is personal for you. So if you're going out and you're looking and Googling like what does an owl mean, that's fine too. But just be sure to tap into what resonates for you. Because if you read, there's lots of different things that an owl represents. But if you read one and you're like, just doesn't connect. But then you read another, like when I saw that one of the associations with this card was magician, I was just like, because I've been having the magician archetype come up a lot for this specific thing going on that I want to share with the world. Anyway, so that's just crazy. I want to see if there's any more. Wisdom, I guess, is the last one. Well, and what I'm hearing with this is that's the magic. Your wisdom is the magic that is going to come out, that's ready to come out and to be shared. And this new idea or this thing may come up on or around the full moon in Leo, which is very creative full moon, full of self-expression. Okay, so your tarot card, you got the Empress, Archangel Gabriel. Lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. I just love this. So looking at the image really is bringing back this idea of the birds and the animals are talking to you. And that may be one of the magic gifts that you have, is that you are an animal communicator and you don't know it, or you do know it, or you had an idea, or you think you knew it, but you're pushing it away. But this Leo full moon is going to be like, poof, the animals are talking to you, right? So maybe that's you in there communicating, right, with the animals. Yeah, so this is the time to create a plan, right, to get structured around what you want to bring forth. And if you have no idea what that is yet, it's coming, don't worry. Part of what this magic, part of what this gift, part of what this wisdom that you are bringing forth is going to be about nurturing others. But similar to the last pile when we were talking about cup being full, you know, this is really a call to make sure that as you are giving and supporting and nurturing others, you are also nurturing yourself. And it's funny because I chose this pile, and this is something that before this video I kept hearing from my ancestors, like, you need to eat, which I totally didn't eat this banana, but it's here. And one of the things I keep hearing, you know, I want all these other wild, wonderful, like, downloads to come through, but what I realize, if I'm not listening to the simple ones, like nourishing myself, taking care of myself, then I'm blocking that messaging. And that's what I'm hearing for this group strongly. Like, nourishing this self enables you to nourish others. And that's part of what this gift is, right? Is nurturing yourself, or I'm sorry, is nurturing others. Nurture, whether that is like food nourishment, like nutrition nourishment, soulful nourishment, dream nourishment, right? Spiritual nourishment. It can come in so many different forms. Yeah, this is really a call from your ancestors. Really want you to tap into that creative energy. Tap into your creative self-expression, allow for these ideas to flourish, and it can also signify like rejuvenated health, and joy and happiness and creativity. I feel like bubbling up for this pile. But really, you know, like, she's holding the baby and seeing the baby as yourself and nurturing yourself. And I'm also hearing nurturing yourself as much as you want to nurture all your clients, or, you know, the people that you are helping. Let me see if anything comes up in the book that's adding. Yeah, it's all about tapping into your creative ideas and allowing them to come forth and to express themselves. And if you're trapped or you're stuck or you don't really know like how or what that is, you know, going back to paying attention to those symbols, they may be coming to you, like I said, books, films, in your environment, in your dreams too, would be something to tap into. And I'm also hearing with this Leo full moon for this pile is that a lot of abundance is coming your way as you put this creative endeavor in motion. Okay, let's see what ancestor is coming to you. Yes, oh my god, and look, it's a freaking bird. Inventor. I love it. This is such a potent reading. I know when all the cards flow together and the message is very clear. Thank you for the clarity. I just freaking wings, bird. I love it. So yeah, really tapping into that. And I'm also hearing, you know, that bird, wings, air sign energy. So this may be a really mental time for you where a lot of ideas are coming through this full moon in Leo for you. And the archetype ancestor of the inventor is coming here to tell you that any ideas that you have on or around this time may really lead to abundance for you. And you are also being called to be innovative and to bring forth something entirely individual for you that's like never been done before. Okay, you are an inventor. You came to this lifetime to create, to be innovative, to create change, to make change, and to be different, right? So also really honing in that, honing in and allowing yourself to be different, not listening to the noise, similar to the first pile. But I feel like the first pile, it's more like other people were judging you. This pile, I feel like you're judging yourself. So not allowing those self-judgments to come in and to damper the inventor archetype who really wants to thrive and shine at this time, right? So yeah, I feel like a lot of people in this pile are gonna have, very mental air time, lots of thoughts, lots of ideas, lots of creations that can bring forth abundance to you. Spending lots of time, learning, reading, writing, thinking, building, singing, podcasting, creating. Lots of creative energy for this pile. And yeah, I'm hearing like they want you to dive into this new idea, this creative endeavor with the energy and with the idea and with the confidence that you're already this, is what I'm hearing. Like, you don't have to do anything to become the inventor. Like, you already are the inventor, and just allowing those ideas to flow freely through you. Okay? I love this. And the goddess oracle that you got is Mary Magdalene. Unconditional love. Love yourself and others in every situation, no matter what the outward appearance may be. So I feel like this is going back to that judgment that you're having for yourself, maybe even over this idea. Maybe this idea or this creative endeavor, this thing, this communication with animals or whatever it is that is awakening for you, you're judging it. And the energy with this card too is like worrying what other people think, right? Because wasn't Mary Magdalene like a prostitute, or she was thought to be a prostitute? And I'm sure lots of people had a lot of judgment about that, and like, why is Jesus hanging out with her, and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't really know the story that well, but I mean, her vibe in this card is that she doesn't care, right? So it is about releasing what other people think. And I'm really hearing this, that book, I'm looking at it right now, by, what's her name? Louise Hay. Sorry, I didn't mean to flash you my privates. Getting this energy and this affirmation, and you can borrow it if you need to, but when someone comes to you with energy that's like against what you want to do, or even if it's your own inner critic, just saying, well, that may be true for you, but it's not true for me. Okay? That's like the big energy that I'm getting with this card. Not letting what you think other people are going to think about you stop you from your invention. Right? The world needs it. It's going to help so many other people with this invention. You're going to be nurturing and nourishing a lot of people. And yeah, it's meant, your gift, your creation is meant to be out in the world. Yeah, and there's also, similar to pile 2, like this energy of, maybe it was pile 1, not letting other people's, thoughts, ideas, energy, judgments around what these creations are stop you. Allowing I'm also hearing like allowing animal energies to support you, right? Especially as birds and everything that have been all over. But I'm also hearing, similar to a pile 1, like all this animal energy. And I'm also hearing like it may be helpful for you to tap into guides and ancestors around this time if you're not feeling like you have support in the physical realm for your dreams, because you always have support in the spiritual. So I believe that that is all. That's all that is coming through for pile 3. And if you enjoyed this, if this resonated at all, like, comment, subscribe. I love, love, love to hear from you. I really think that this Leo full moon is going to be really joyful and juicy and full of creation for all of us. And anyway, yeah, if you want a more personal full moon in Leo reading, you can check out the link in my bio and contact me about one of those or purchase one of those from my site and get a little more messaging and details around what this Leo full moon may bring up for you specifically. Yeah, that's all. I just love doing these so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.